1 in 3 women by age 65 will suffer from osteoporosis, and 1 in 8 men will suffer from osteoporosis by the age of 65. So what does that mean? What is osteoporosis and where does it actually happen? Well, osteoporosis is basically the degeneration of bone. In its lighter stages it's called osteopenia, but when it starts to get to a level where it's actually affecting your health, it's called osteoporosis. So you get a decrease in bone mineral density, and as you know, bone is made up of mineral salts such as calcium and phosphorus, and collagen, which actually holds all that calcium and phosphorus together to make a nice solid structure to make up the skeletal system. Think of the collagen as like the steel reinforcing when you lay down the cement, and the cement is the phosphorus and the calcium, the mineral salts, and the reinforced steel holds the cement together. But what happens with the aging process, but not so much with aging, but also mostly with the decrease in activity, particularly in the weight-bearing joints, as we become more of a sedentary society where we sit, we don't stand, we don't jump, we don't run, we don't lift so much anymore because life is made to be very easy for us with technology, then we're going to increase our chances of getting osteoporosis, because there's the old saying, if you don't use it, you lose it. So it is a major challenge. It's a major challenge because a lot of more elderly or more mature people will end up in hospital with a broken hip. They'll break actually the head of the femur here, and once they get into hospital, and then there is a certain good percentage of them actually end up passing away once they've actually broken the hip, whether that's due to other diseases infiltrating the body when your immune system is down, or so you also may have the loss of the spirit because now you can't move around. I know when my grandmother passed away, she was fine up until then, but she broke her hip, went in the hospital, passed away very soon after. She almost had a broken spirit, not just a broken bone. And my pop passed away about a week after. I think his heart was broken, he passed away. So it's really important to maintain good bone mineral density. Now, the prime sites that seem to suffer from osteoporosis, obviously all sites can, but the two main weight-bearing joints is obviously the neck of the femur here. So obviously this is a very important component because this holds the lower limb to the axial system. So if you fracture that or break that, then your quality of life is going to go downhill, and that's a major weight-bearing life-bearing type joint that you want to maintain healthy. So the two main sides is the neck of the femur here and the body of the vertebrae, particularly in the lower lumbar and even up into the thoracic spine. So these thick bony structures here, which support the overall body, they decrease in bone density to become very porous. And when it's very porous, they become brittle and weak. And these actually start to collapse because there's nothing there to hold them together. So they actually start to compress and collapse on top of each other. And so much so, they collapse particularly in the anterior component of that, and then your whole vertebral column starts to change its shape. You start to get that, what you see a lot of old people do with this very kyphotic position. And people sometimes say, hey, they got very poor posture. Yes, they have got poor posture, but that poor posture comes from the compression and the decrease in support through the bodies of the vertebrae, where they actually collapse upon each other and start to turn your body into this kyphotic type position. And then once they collapse upon each other, then obviously it's very hard to correct. So the two main sites for osteoporosis is the neck of the femur and the bodies of the vertebrae. Here, if you break this, then that's going to be a major challenge in getting back into life. So you want to maintain that's nice and strong, and you can actually see that this is obviously the vertebral column is very important to maintain good vertebral positioning and posture. And once that starts to collapse, these vertebrae collapse upon each other due to the actually breaking down of the bone, then we got some major challenges. Obviously, as you probably already know, one of the best things you can do to avoid osteoporosis is obviously doing some weight-bearing activity. Make sure you're walking. If you can run, even better, because impact forces is good for bone mineral density, and lifting weights is fantastic because strength training is very controlled, and you control loads going through the body and more upright compound-based movements, not isolation movements. Things such as squats and lunges and deadlifts and push-ups and dips and chin-ups are going to be some of the best exercises you can do. And also, obviously, supplement that with a good healthy eating plan, so you're feeding the body and the bones all the right nutrients, the micronutrients, to build bone and keep it nice and strong, so you can have a healthy lifestyle with a good quality of life, and that would be No Cow Poo.